Hello, my friends. How are you today? My name is Natasha. I am the creator and the founder of the Glow Up Method, and I am so excited to be here with you today. Oh my goodness, today is a motivational Monday, and let me tell you, sometimes life just gives you what you need to learn. You may think things are going to go one way, and you may plan things out. But suddenly you're on this path, and all of a sudden you're like, yes, this is exactly why I'm here today. So, last night I was doing so much stuff with work yesterday, and I really had this intention of getting into bed at a reasonable hour, and I got stuck. So I'm not a really techie person, but one of the caveats of Chris and I's separations was he has asked me to not ask him to do things for me. And, at first I was kind of like, okay, what is the definition of that and stuff like that. And I was frustrated because I don't want to learn the tech stuff. I am a genius at certain things. I'm really good at writing. I'm really good at engaging here. I'm really good at learning things that excite me, right? Like the personal development, the coaching, all the aha moments, the research, arranging a succulent. Look at this over here. I am a sucker for succulents. I know it's been all about the roses recently, but this was what I had made in the workshop. And so it still needs some tweaks and it needs some cleaning up. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick that here for today because I'm recording early and I would like to give you guys something pretty to look at over here. So this is my sucker for succulent over here. But anyways, I say all that to say, I don't want to. I want to focus on the things that I'm really good at, because when I'm not doing the things I'm really good at, I'm just there's, like I say, we all work as a team, in my philosophy, and there are people that are really good at tech and it's just not me. And I know if I spent the time and I learned how to do it, I could become very good at it, but I don't have the desire. I don't have the passion. And quite frankly, I don't have the patience for it. Not that I can't get it. It's just my choice. I don't want to do all that. So anyways, I am thrust in this position where I have to learn how to do things on my own, which is okay. It's fine. I have been resilient and learned how to do a million gazillion things before I can learn the tech. So I've set up my own email. I've, purchased a domain. I'm here recording. Eventually it will make it to the mainstream. Again, there's going to be new things. I'm looking at getting, better equipment, like a better camera and a microphone, or, whatever, those kind of things, so that this is the best, representation of me. And I want you to see the evolution of how you can start from absolutely nothing and then be wherever this will be. And that's totally fine, because again, if I reach just one person, if something I says connects to just one person, I've done my job. And to be quite frank, the things I say, sometimes they connect with my own self. Through this process, I've had multiple breakthroughs just talking out loud here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So in so many ways, you guys have increase the quality of my life substantially. So I appreciate that. And then having this commitment to me that commits to you, and have this thing where I'm dedicated and I'm putting in that time. This is building muscles. This is building calluses. And it's reminding me I can do really hard things. And that it's reminding me that I can be vulnerable and I can get out of my comfort zone. And with practice and dedication, I will just refine that if I like it, right? And I seem to like it because I'm still here today. But anyways, I really started thinking this morning. I had this intention of, starting my 7 a.m. I love starting things on a Monday, but all of a sudden it was 1:30 in the morning. And I really had this conundrum, do I just go for 7 o'clock? Cause this is what I said I wanted to do. Or do I just allow my body to be my body and kind of be this nurturing person? Because this is what I'm trying to balance, is what works with my lifestyle. I don't have a lifestyle right now with the season I'm in, with where my children are, with the needs that they have on me, and this precious time. I was having a full like realization again this morning, like about how, when there's change, it's a challenge. Some changes we bring upon ourselves, right? We may quit a job, or, we may, break up with somebody, or we may decide to move. But other changes, they're not initiated by us. And those are challenging too, because it could be, you get fired from a job, or somebody breaks up with you, or, a family member no longer wants to talk to you, or in this situation where my heart is like, labored, is, here it is, my third born, who is magnificent in so many ways, who I have had the privilege of standing by and being his biggest cheerleader through some really crazy life situations. He is just within a few weeks of him embarking on this world on his own. And like literally next week, he's going to be in a whole other country, halfway across the world, all alone. And not alone because he has this other community that like he's creating, but really he doesn't know anybody beyond 3 texts with them. So, it takes a lot of courage for me to let go, and it takes a lot of courage for me to not be like, I'm going to go on that plane and I'm going to do all these things, and to just let him have this space. But it's also a reminder that, this time where he is here and he's in high school, even if he does or doesn't go, it's safe. It's comfortable. I know what to expect. My brain knows what's happening. My heart knows what's happening. But now he's embarking on this uncharted territory. There's a lot of uncertainty. Is the knee healed? We're going to go this week and do some major testing on his knee to see where it's at. And, just where is he going, as far as college? Is he going this year? Is he going to take the gap year? Is he going to go to Spain? Is he going to go to England? Is he going to stay home? Is he going to pursue the esports? So it's like there's so many great options available for him. And I'm just uncertain where he's going to go. And that realization that things are going to change is a challenge, even though I know that they've changed with my other kids, but yet it stayed the same. Like the love was still there and the care was still there. And I have been spoiled, right? When your kids, live within 25 miles away, they're still away at college because they're not here every day. But it's a very different experience to know I can just hop in a car, and in 30 minutes or less, I can be there, or an hour or less or something if there's traffic. And so, it was really hitting me this morning. And so again, like last night, when I finished up my work, it was like, I really want to go in and spend some time with them. And yeah, by the way, it happens to be midnight. They're teenage boys. They're not keeping the same hours as I am. They're not waking up at 7. Sometimes it seems like I think they're going to sleep at 7. Not necessarily the healthiest thing, but again, they gotta figure out their own stuff. So, and I'm being exaggerating. They're not going to bed at 7, but it seems like it at times. But anyways, I say, so like I had this like reminder, like pulling on my heartstrings that like today where I'm at in my lifestyle, I still am prioritizing my children. They are still a priority. I have now earned myself a seat at the table where I too am a priority. So I'm there. And learning how to balance and juggle that is definitely a challenge for me. I am still very much the person who drops myself for them, but I'm getting much better. If it's something scheduled and I have it on, like I am brainstorming instead of being the martyr and the one to just say, oh, well, then I'll just won't do what I'm going to do. I'm trying to strategize and figure it out. Like, for example, on Wednesday, my son has an appointment out in Palo Alto area at the Stanford there. We have to do all this testing. It's like 3 hours. By the time I'd get back home with traffic, I wouldn't have time to go to my gym. And in the past, I would have just took that as that's the way it's going to be today. I don't get to go to the gym. But now I was like, hey, Chris, can you meet me you know, halfway. If you meet me in Fremont, then, or you meet me somewhere in that vicinity, then I can not only be there and take Dylan and support him through this procedure, but I can also do me, which is going to refuel me and make me be able to show up as a better mom and as a better person. And, you know, it was like, and then it ultimately was like, yes. So it got done. And yes, there wasn't, you know, it's going to get done. And I didn't have to sacrifice. So there are worlds where things can work out where you can have your cake and eat it too. So I say all that to say, you know, I started thinking about some certain things today, and then I was thinking about other things. And then I really had to ask myself at one point, like, in 3 years and 3 months, will these things matter? Like, I really just needed to hone it down. I was like, you know, and I had an interaction with my daughter that triggered me. And, you know, it was really challenging because, you know, again, my children are my priorities. And oftentimes that line is blurred, right? Like between me and them, it was like that you lived in my womb. You know, I gave you some of my DNA. I feel like some of your DNA is, you know, like you've imprinted on me just as much as I've imprinted on you. And, you know, I just want to get it right. And in less than a week, my daughter is graduating from college, and she was a COVID kid. So she didn't have, you know, a traditional graduation for her high school. And, you know, it was at home in the living room, and we decorated, and, you know, she was dressed up, and, you know, we did so much to make something very unnormal, very normal, like ish, you know, very fun. You know, we had good food and, you know, did everything that she wanted, balloon arches, you know, the whole 9 yards, all her pictures from when she was younger, her graduation picture, like it was just lovely, right? We had signs outside, you know, family members came to the driveway and actually came in, some of them, even though we were risking death at that time, we thought, right? But they came in, and we really did. It was this big thing for her. And this year's a little bit different. Like a lot of those family members that were here and a part of my daily life, and more importantly in this aspect, her daily life 4 years ago, are no longer here. Like they're no longer a part of our day-to-day or even holiday lives. Those relationships have been severed, and that's tough when there is a big event and you have the memory of the way it was and the way it is now, and it wasn't by your choosing, right? Like my daughter had nothing to do with the fallout of my sibling and I's relationship, but she does bear the brunt of the aftermath, right? Because she's like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why are they not here for me? Or why are they not a part of my life? And you know, very much so that my brother's kids and my sister's kid may think the same thing. Although I think she was too young. She probably won't even remember me now. But I say all that to say is, you know, I ask myself if these things are if it's gonna matter, you know, I want to get it right. And so I'm asking her, you know, do you want, you know, where do you want, you know, I've been asking her for like months now, like, where do you want to go to dinner? Do you want to go do something special after? Like we had intentions of taking a big family trip. Well, how we've now have a child who can't even walk. So this is on hold until we don't know. And, you know, she has her boyfriend's family who is super planned out, and you know they like to fill in empty space with, you know, activities and things like that, and so their schedule busies up quickly, and you know she's feeling a little bit left out, and so she's got her own things going on. And you know I'm trying to be nice, and I'm asking her, do you want flowers? Do you want a lei? You know, because one year she wanted a lei, and then one year she was like, I hate leis. They are itchy and they give me allergies and da da da. So I'm like, well, just tell me what you want and I will get it. Like I have no problem in that. And it was like, for her perspective was, I want a big surprise, and I don't want to, you know, me telling you is not going to make it special. And my perspective was, hey, I'm really working on communicating and really reducing the amount of mind reading and surprising I do, because I often surprise you and I get it wrong, and it really hurts my feelings because I put a lot of time and energy into it, and then it's wrong. I got the wrong color, I got the wrong kind of flowers, and it just triggers you that it didn't come out the way you envisioned in your mind but never communicated. It triggers me because I put in all this time and effort and I feel really unappreciated, and then it just overshadows the event. And she's, you know, from her perspective, she's like, I already did all the work to get here, I just want to sit back and enjoy it. And from my perspective is like, I've supported you when you've done the work, and I would like to sit back and enjoy it too. It's just, you know, sometimes with these kids, the way I've enabled them and the way I have, you know, done things, like in particular with my daughter, is like, oh, it's like this, you know, big celebration and everything for this person, and it just puts a lot of work on me and a lot of a guessing game, and I just don't have that energy. It just no longer aligns with me. And so today I was just honest, and she was like, well, how come you can just buy, you know, my son's girlfriend, was her graduation was last year, well, you just bought her flowers and it wasn't that big of a deal, and da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, it was a safe space. She wasn't going to yell at me because I bought her the wrong flowers and the wrong color and say, ew, these ones I'm allergic to, like, you know. And she was like, well, this. And I was like, would you want me to plan your wedding day? Like, if you want something special and you want something particular, let me know. Like, tell me what it is you want to eat. This is your day. Like, it's not like up for negotiation. And sometimes it feels like she doesn't want to do the work. And, you know, when she doesn't want to do the work, sometimes she does. Like Christmas, she had a full list of, here's what I want. I don't care if it's not a surprise. Like, just, these are the things I want. And, you know, that worked fine for me. And, you know, this morning I felt like upset because I was like, here I had this beautiful morning where I was like so celebratory. I was like, you know, good on you, Natasha. Like, you ended up, I naturally waking up at 7. I ended up just, you know, laying there for a few minutes. I didn't get into my old habits of getting stuck on the phone for a long time, reading through social media. I didn't sit there and roll back over and went to sleep. Like, I got up, I laid there, enjoyed the peace of it for a minute. I got up, I made my bed, I did my pillow chops, I looked back, I was like, good for you, you know. This, yeah, it may not be like, you know, military status over here where, you know, I've got some crisp edges or something, but I made my bed and it looks beautiful. It's perfect the way it is. I love it. I looked back, I was so happy about that. I got to get in my meditation, my dry brushing, my scalp massaging, my facial massaging with the gua sha and everything. And then to have that happen, I was just taken aback because I didn't foresee a triggering. I didn't see, you know, I had an exciting meeting and that was coming up. Like, I had work I was doing, I had running, I had plans, and to get triggered like that just really set me back for a few minutes. And that's why I had to think, like, in the scheme of life, like 3 years from now, will this matter? And I was like, no. And so all I can do is, again, be honest. And I try to like wait, like, oh, wait, you know, she's got her last finals this week and projects. Maybe I shouldn't tell her this week that, you know, like, it's overwhelming for me when, you know, there's this expectation for me to surprise and do all these things. Like, I want to get it right for you, and I don't always know how, and it's really hurtful when I don't. And I'm not saying you should lie or not tell me the truth, but I'm also saying is it does not work for me to be able to just go out there and mind read and surprise. It's like very anxiety provoking. I get very overwhelmed, like, and I just don't like feeling like this. And then I'm feeling guilt for not getting it right and feeling guilty for not doing anything. And that's just where I am today. And I felt like my job was to not wait for this perfect time to let her know, but that perfect time was now, because what often happened was like, I would just wait around and be like, oh, I don't want to upset her. I don't want to upset Chris, or I don't want to upset this person. And I silenced my voice for so long and in the situations. And I was like, I'll just take it. I'll wait till this time. But there is never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be a situation where everything is going hunky-dory. And on the contrary, we need to learn how to navigate life when it is less than perfect. So I am so proud that I stood up and I just said my thing. And I know this is about her and her day and all these things. And I don't want to feel this like worry of the judgment. Like, it's not worth my peace in this. And I think I have to honor myself. And I hope that even if today she doesn't respect it and understand it, that at some day she will. She didn't respond. She ghosted me since, and that's okay. Like, whatever she's got to do to process, to live, to do whatever, that's on her. That's her work to do. Like, I just have to be honest with me. I, was then now feeling this panic, and I called Chris and I was like, are you in the Berkeley area? Can you go pick up some Cal alumni gear? Like, and all this stuff. And I explained what was happening, and then I was like conflicted because I was like, honestly, I don't even know what she would want. I don't even know what sizes. I don't even know what colors. Like, I went in this whole panic thing, and he was like, I don't even know if I'll be near there, but if I am, I'll call you. So he calls me, and I was like, you know what? I've had time to think. Like, I honestly, the best situation is to just call her. And I'm like, coming from you, it'll be a different situation than coming from me for whatever reason. And I think she'll definitely be more receptive to you. And he was like, well, if she wants a surprise. And I was like, yeah, she does, but she wants us to surprise her with what she wants. And that's just an impossible ask. And he could kind of relate. He was like, yeah, because I understand, like, I wanted you to do all these things for me and you didn't, but I never communicated them. And, like, that wasn't your fault, but that was mine. But yet I punished you for it. And so, like, he kind of related to it so he could understand. And then he went and took care of it. Like, he called her, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm about to go into my class. I didn't hear anything back. He's like, no, I'm sending her pictures. We've got it taken care of without you. I'm like, perfect. And so I'm like, I don't care if it comes from me. I don't care if whatever it is. The point is I want her to be celebrated. I want her to feel good, but I also don't want to sacrifice me in that process. And that's where I'm so proud that I made progress today as a mom and, who is navigating these things, because I have this tendency to just fall into the trap and continue the cycle. And I felt like in this moment, I was like, I want to stop the cycle. This is not healthy for me. Maybe it's healthy for you. I don't know, but it's not healthy for us as a mother and a daughter together. And so that was huge. And having that like perspective of taking myself out of the moment and shifting into a broader view really made me hone in and be like, it doesn't matter what kind of colors, but what color flowers I get. I'll go pick some, whatever. I'm fine with that. If that's what she wants, flowers versus a lei, great. That's what she will get. But I also so the colors of the flowers aren't going to matter. But I also know that if I was to allow myself to get triggered, or if she was triggered, and it would overshadow the thing. And I don't want this special day for her to be remembered by, frustration because you got the wrong color of flowers. And, at the end of the day, I had to remind her, I'm like, the gift is you had this amazing opportunity to not only attend, but to graduate from the number one, now it's really in controversy, because perhaps I'm going to have one going to the opposing other number one school. There's two number one public schools in America, and one's UC Berkeley and one's UCLA. So whatever side you're on, I guess will depend whatever one my, kids are in at the time. So right now I'm going to stick with the UC Berkeley because that's where my kid is. Is to say you had this opportunity that so few get, and you had a privilege of graduating from there. Like, you won. Like, that's the gift. Like, it's not about the graduation party, and it's not about what you're going to get at the end. You got it all. It was in a big, beautiful, rocky, crazy 4-year package. And that was up for you to do with that gift, with what you wanted. And all the other stuff, that's just a bonus. Like, the people being there to sell, like, I hope you are proud of you. You did that. You did years of hard work beyond the 4 years, like starting from birth to today. Like, you learned the lessons, you applied the material, you showed up, you took the small steps of going to school each day and turning in your homework and all those things that at the time didn't seem like a whole lot, but in the spectrum of life was huge. They made a difference. And I think that is such an example of all change and all things. Like, we get to this point where we say we want to do this, right? Like, you can be a freshman in high school and now all of a sudden people are talking college, and it doesn't seem like this thing that's so far off in the distance. Like, it's in the distance, but it's not so far that you're like, yeah, it's kind of like when you're like hitting spring and you're like, yeah, summer's coming. I better get that beach bod on. Or, yeah, I'm about to go on that vacation. I better go on this diet. Like, you have this excitement, right? You have this reason. You get pregnant and now you want to, tidy up the house and start doing nesting and, remodel or whatever, like a change is coming and it's exciting and you're all in and you're doing these things and you keep going. And then all of a sudden you hit this point where like, you're like, I don't see any action. You're bored because it's like that initial excitement is kind of like wearing off. Like, I'm still going to school. Like, ew, yeah, I'm cleaning for a baby that's not even here yet. And I'm still not having fun. It's actually messier now than when we began. Whatever the situation is we get bored and then we stop doing what we do. Like, and that's where the hardest part of change is sticking with it. It's doing all those small things that seem meaningless, that seem like they're not having any effect. Like, if you're starting a diet, you're like now you're going to the gym and there's no change. You get on the scale, you haven't dropped a pound, you haven't gained a pound, but you haven't dropped one. Your body still looks the same. Like, we are so accustomed to these quick, fast, results, right? Like, if we want to know something, we're quickly on Google and then we have 1,000 results. If we are bored, we can just sit here and mindlessly scroll through TikTok or, YouTube, any of these things, right? Instagram, Facebook, you name it, right? We can sit there and get lost in it for hours. We are so used to this, this instant gratification. If we don't like it, we just move on to the next thing, And it's that time, those small things that we're doing. So it's like, what is your definition of success? That is the question. Like, for me, like for her, what is the definition of success? You have successfully graduated college. Like, that is incredible. That is amazing. Like, I'm so proud of you. And I don't really even care if it was the number 1 college or the number 5 gazillionth in one. It doesn't matter. You did something. Your success is the sum of all those small choices, all those small decisions compounded in one that equals something great. And you don't see it always along the way, right? You're making progress and things and it's off in the distance, but now you have it, right? Like, and that's huge. And I don't know what she's going to do with it after. That's a whole nother ballpark and a whole nother conversation. But the point is, she did it, and that I am hoping that she is so proud of her, as proud as I am of her. And I say this all the time. Like, I wish that my kids could see themselves through my eyes just once and see how remarkable and how loved they are. And I say that, like, now knowing, and I hope that they have more love for themselves than I've had for myself. So perhaps they don't need to see me through my eyes. I think my daughter probably does. I think she definitely has some struggles. But now this is the same thing. Like, I am so glad I can see me through my eyes. Like, today my mom was, I guess, bragging about my, accomplishments to her, funny enough, her ex-husband. And, they were chatting and she was telling him about, all my progress. And I guess he wanted to see a picture. So my mom had said, can you resend me these 2 pictures? And she sent me this whole thing about how proud she was of me. And it was beautiful. It was amazing to hear. And before, I would have ate it up, like, as if it was like just anything. But it was so nice to hear, but I didn't need it. Like, for so many years, I would have needed and waited to hear those things. But I tell myself this stuff all the time. Like, this morning I made my bed. I'm like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you had the choice to not make this bed or make this bed, and you did. Like, I'm so proud of you that your body and your mind are aligning in conspiracy with you to make these things happen. That even if you didn't necessarily set your alarm, your body woke up, you were still, alert, rested, and ready to start your day, because this is the path that you're meant to be on. This is what you're meant to be doing, and everything is aligning in that way. So I don't rely on waiting for somebody to just tell me you're good enough. I like you. I want the like on my, picture or whatever. I'm just doing my things in order to help somebody else, which also helps me. I'm doing these things because they fuel me up. They give me energy. They give me life. And this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And so I say all this to say, change is really hard. It is. But if you believe in yourself and you know it is possible, then you can do it. When we look at life in this narrow focus, when we're just looking at the today and the tomorrow and maybe next week, we don't look at things in this broader sense. And when we look at things in the broader sense, we can see the sacrifices or the choices or the decisions we make today. They do impact the future, or sometimes they don't. Like this argument with my daughter, it's not going to matter to me in 3 years. I probably will have forgotten it. And so at the end of that day, I'm like, so does it deserve all this energy and space in my today? No, it doesn't. And if it is something that is going to mean so much, then maybe it deserves a little bit more time and space today than I'm giving it. And so that's why I'm here today, and I plan to continue to be here, and I'm working really hard on the back end to make this the best thing possible so that I can help you and reach others. And I think that that's so important. And if you could take whatever energy you receive from here and you then share it with somebody else, these are the ripples I'm talking about. This is the kind of instant gratification I hope that we all begin to crave and share. So I say thank you so much to you. Thank you for sharing your energy with me and tuning into me, because I know there are millions of people you could be listening to, and there's millions of things that you can be doing with your very precious time. And so I just thank you, and I hope that you have an amazing day. Please go out there, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you so much. Bye.